Doesn't matter if he's cooperating. Everything found after the stop is thrown out. I've seen people take plea deals and still get appeals overturned. It violated this man's rights. On private property and a valid stop, nah, doesn't happen. What's going on, man? Always feeling the police, bro.
Oh, God, it's crazy out here, man.
Nah, they horrible out here. That's why we out here. I ain't seen one white person pulled over yet. It's either brown or black, brother. Brown or black. That's all they pull over.
Wren versus United States was a Supreme Court decision that declared that any traffic offense committed by a driver was legitimate legal base for a traffic stop. In an opinion authored by Anton Scalia, the court held that a search and seizure is not a violation of the Fourth Amendment in cases where the police officers have reasonable suspicion that a traffic violation has occurred. The personal or subjective motives of an officer are not a factor in the court's Fourth Amendment analysis of whether the cause for a stop is sufficient. The standard for reasonable suspicion is purely an objective one. A major concern with the case's ruling is that police conducting traffic stops may racially profile the stopped persons. Similar to the controversy around New York City's stop and frisk program, some believe that the ruling in Wren will lead to an increase in racial profiling towards young African American males.
He said they circled, so he was sitting there. Nope. Not till they enter a public roadway. Man needs a trifold. Always invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent and invoke your First Amendment right to film. Yeah, it's the sergeant violating. This guy's just covering. That's all he's doing. Doesn't matter if he's cooperating. Everything found after the stop is thrown out. I've seen people take plea deals and still get appeals overturned. It violated this man's rights. On private property and a valid stop, nah, doesn't happen. Hey, boss, were you here when it happened? No. What's that? Yeah, just because the thing is, if it ain't a valid stop, which it sounds like it ain't, everything he finds is not valid.
So did he pull him over for speeding, or did he pull him over for...
Well, no, he's saying that the guy circled him 3 times while he was sitting there.
Why?
Because probably black. DWB, driving while black. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
SWB, sitting while black.
Yeah.
He wasn't even driving.
So he was just sitting in the car?
Supposedly just sitting in the car eating his tacos. And the guy circled 3 times and then lit him up. And that's unfortunately, that's not a valid stop, regardless if he's got that plate, that cover on or not. You have to wait till he gets on public roadway.
Yeah.
So anything they find, anything they come,
this is private.
it's private property. That's right. Unless he lit him up coming in,
He
can't do shit. And all my subscribers are sitting there talking the same thing.
Did they find marijuana on him?
Well, he admitted it. He bought it from Oklahoma. He's got a Texas marijuana card.
Well, if it's under 2 ounces, you can't do nothing.
But the problem he's having is it doesn't matter. He's going in his car and pulling the shit and all this other, everything he finds at this point, it's not a valid stop. Everything else is all thrown out. It doesn't matter what the cop does. Those stripes on his shoulder,
Yeah.
he gonna get sued and lose those stripes.
So why are he still messing with him?
Because they get away with a lot of stuff. That's why we're up here in Lewisville filming.
Where y'all from? Y'all.
We all separate. We all have our separate social media platforms.
Oh, okay.
Don't get me wrong, the plate cover is illegal, but if you're on private property, you can't do shit about it.
What wrong with the cover?
What's that? All DFW.
Is it covered?
All DFW. I'm zooming in. I got to get his name so I can pull the body cam footage. E. Johnson. It's all right. I'll pull records and dash cam body cam. I'm pretty sure it's an unlawful. Dealers do it all the time because they get lazy putting it on there.
On private property.
This guy's just cover, guys. The sergeant, that's the problem. No, they go by the VIN number. They don't go by the plate.
You say the black cop saying the VIN number doesn't even match the
That's
plate.
because it's an agent tag. There's no VIN number on it. It's a dealer tag. The dealer tag. I'm telling you, the dealer tag is. And I worked for 20 years in the car business. No. But we used to put that on the cars all the time because we were too lazy to go pull a VIN specific plate for 60 days. It was basically a lazy salesman that did it. That's what it was. Yeah. Hey, I'm guilty of doing it occasionally. I'm gonna definitely pull the dash cam, body cam on that one because this is a bad stuff. Yep. I'm gonna. Yeah, Johnson. I don't care about this guy. This he just covering.
And they've been here the whole time. On private property, the cops started circling them. And the cops pulled up on him because his license plate is too dark. And so,
Hey, just have him hang tight when they're done, because I want to discuss some things to.
Hey, I think I got some in there. Yes, sir. I ain't trying to sit down, but just too clean, brother. God damn it, I ain't trust me, I ain't going nowhere. Trust me, brother, I ain't going nowhere. Trust me.
They're going to use
that
officer safety.
Let's go. The lemonade. Yeah.
Say your ID's in here, dude?
He got my ID.
Give me. Say your ID's in here? I don't know. I'm at the book.
Don't give it to him. IDs don't have to. Pastors do not have to ID. In fact, the passenger can ask if he's detained or free to go, walk away if he's free to go. Detained or free to go.
What's the question? He's saying if the driver has been like he's complying, the passenger he can't
I ain't did nothing wrong.
Doesn't say anything wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No,
They say y'all can't even answer anytime there's drugs in the car, I'm gonna search it. We don't want to search what people in the car, right? But the other part of it is we can get people out of the car for any reason.
Nah, you good.
Right themselves that y'all.
Maryland versus Wilson, they can pull you out of the car.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. They take them a tag and stuff.
Pennsylvania versus Maryland, they can pull the driver out I think it's Arizona or Maryland versus Wilson. They can pull the passenger out.
You right? I seen you say yeah.
I know case law better than these guys.
That's mine. We haven't got the him. That's mine. But it's between his feet. That's between his feet.
No, that ain't mine.
This is my passport. That's mine. Okay. That's not medically prescribed. Come on, brother.
You still don't have to ID unless you've been lawfully arrested in the state of Texas.
Stop doing that, Sarge. Come on, man. You supposed to be retired, goddamn man. You supposed to
He's asking for ID. He's not demanding. So
You think I'm with the I'm not. This little girl. That's my dog.
Do you have ID out of Texas or is what state's your ID out of? Why can't that? He has drug traffic notice, like fucking constructive possession. I'm not trying to take a jail. I should know who you are. Okay? If I can't figure out who you are, I gotta take a jail. That's how it works. It's called constructive possession. It's between your feet. It is between your feet. It's called constructive possession. Listen to me.
I told him my name already.
I can't find out who you are. So do you have an ID out of Texas or where's it out of? What's your birthday? Okay, do me a favor. I'm gonna hand you a pen and a piece of paper. Since these guys are on Facebook Live, I don't want you to.
not on Facebook. Stop with the libel and slander.
I need to know your address so I can make sure it matches on your driver's license. What address is on your license? Write it down for me. And then you can show y'all can do this hard. Because I just need to verify who he is. Because you know,
I'm trying to figure out what I'm getting.
Passengers don't have to ID. 3802.
You're detained.
Now we're going to get into Texas Penal Code 38.02, failure to identify. This is how the statute reads. A person commits an offense if he intentionally refuses to give his name, residence address, or date of birth to a peace officer who has lawfully arrested the person and requested the information. Now, this is Section B. A person commits an offense if he intentionally gives a false or fictitious name, residence address, or date of birth to a peace officer who has 1. Lawfully arrested the person, 2. Lawfully detained the person, or 3. Requested the information from a person that the peace officer has good cause to believe is a witness to a criminal offense. Now, if you go back to B2, where it says lawfully detain the person, that's only if I give a false or fictitious name, residence address, or date of birth to a peace officer. It doesn't say that I have to give that information. It just says if they find out through investigating that I give the wrong or false information, then I can be charged with that. Now, subsection B-1, a person commits an offense if the person, 1, is an operator of a motor vehicle as defined by section 32.34, who is lawfully detained by a police officer for an alleged violation of law. Okay. So it means if I'm pulled over as a operator of a motor vehicle, I must identify. 2, fails to provide or display the person's driver's license or on the officer's request for the license and intentionally refuses to give the person's name, driver's license number, residence address, or date of birth to the peace officer on the officer's request for that information. So now that's only if I'm driving a motor vehicle for subsection B-1. Now, if you go into B-2, it basically just talks about a provision on where the Class C, Class B, and Class A misdemeanor are. But that's Texas Code, Penal Code 3802, failure to identify. It does not state that as a detainee that you have to give up your Fourth Amendment right and identify. Just like if you were on the sidewalk walking down the road and they do a Terry stop, which we just covered, which is suspicion of reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime, you still do not have to identify. Terry versus Ohio claims you do not have to identify. That's just to be able to detain you, pat you down, and investigate further to see if you've committed a crime before you're actually arrested.
Detained for drug paraphernalia.
That's not
Okay?
mine, though.
It's between your legs. It's called constructive possession. That's fine. You can tell me it's yours. It's called constructive possession. And you know who you are.
He know who I am. He running me right now.
Okay? Okay. What address on your driver's license? Let me verify you.
Terry versus Ohio does not state you have to ID. Terry versus Ohio was a Supreme Court ruling in 1968. It was a landmark U.S. Supreme Court decision in which the court ruled that it is constitutional for American police to, quote-unquote, stop and frisk a person they reasonably suspect to be armed and involved in a crime. Specifically, the decision held that a police officer does not violate the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution's prohibition on unreasonable searches and seizures when questioning someone, even though the officer lacks probable cause to arrest the person. So as long as the police officer has a reasonable suspicion that the person has committed, is committing, or about to commit a crime, such as a crystal ball and can tell the future. Crazy, right? The court also ruled that the police officer may perform a quick surface search of the person's outer clothing for weapons if they have reasonable suspicion that the person stopped is, quote-unquote, armed and presently dangerous. The reasonable suspicion must be based on, quote-unquote, specific and articulable facts and not merely upon an officer's hunch. Now, that means that they can go ahead and do an over-the-clothes pat-down. That's what that means. If you've heard of a stop and frisk, just like in New York City, we're going to talk about that right now. This permitted police action has subsequently been referred to, and in short, as a stop and frisk, stop, question and frisk, or simply a Terry stop, which is what I just said before reading this. The Terry standard was later extended to temporary detentions of persons in vehicles known as traffic stops. And that's where we got into earlier with Wren versus USA. It's the same thing as far as in alleged traffic violations or reasonable articulable suspicion. Now you can see the Terry stop for a summary of sequent jurisprudence, but like I said, I covered that in the beginning of this video. The rationale behind the Supreme Court decision revolves around the notion that, as the opinion argues, the exclusionary rule has its limitations. According to the court, the meaning of the rule is to protect persons from unreasonable searches and seizures aimed at gathering evidence, not searches and seizures for other purposes like prevention of crime or personal protection of officers. Legal scholars have criticized this ruling, stating that people's constitutional rights against the use of abusive police power has been sacrificed in favor of a police purported need for workable tools short of probable cause to use in temporary investigation detentions. We call this, quote-unquote, officer safety, which is clearly abused all the time. Critics also state that it has led to negative legislative outcomes and permitting instances of racial profiling. Rights violator.
What city? Drugs, drugs. Do that hands on. I'm not going to get hands on. All right. You got it? But I'm not done yet.
He just violated your rights because he threatened you with. You can't do that.
You can drive in trucks, you can live good. See, I drive for my pops. My pops, my pops stay around the corner too.
He needs to go back and read 3802, failure to identify.
My pops stay around the corner, man. Literally. Pull up.
Yeah, they're documenting. They're putting little notations on your name.
My birthday. You see my birthday? Listen, you see, it's cool. I said my girl think I be cheap because look how clean I am here. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, check me out though. I've been trying to know.
It's all right. I'm not live right now. I'll edit that out on your birthday, so you're good.
It's applied in the United States, so I really don't know. Better deal if it's on in a second. Make sure that line's heavy. Make sure you don't have some murder warrant or something like that. Okay? Here's the deal. Don't construct a possession. Right? In between your feet, it's possible cause. I'm not giving you a ticket. Okay? But it's between your feet. In the state of Texas, I was supposed to come warning. Verbal warning, written warning. You can go to jail or you can get a citation. Okay? Well, that's the route we need to go tonight. I don't think anyone needs to go to jail. So we got a couple things we got to fix. Okay? Got to get a tag that goes to the vehicle. Right. Here's the thing. It's got to be a tag that's for this vehicle, issued to this vehicle. Okay. What's on there is an authorized agent tag, which is not. You didn't buy the vehicle from a dealer, so an agent of a dealership cannot issue you a tag because it's not from the dealership. Does that make sense? Now, so I'm not gonna. That paper tag that's on there is a misdemeanor that you actually can't. Hear me out. It's actually a misdemeanor you can't get a ticket for. Fictitious tag is a Class A misdemeanor, you go to jail. Okay? It's the same level as a family violence charge. I'm not going to take you to jail on it. It's the highest level misdemeanor. I don't think that's the route we need to go. You are receiving 2 citations. One's for the instructor license plate. You've already been warned on it. Hear me out. Hear me out. The other one's for possession of drug paraphernalia. Okay? I understand you're saying you got a medical marijuana card. You have no proof of it, and the 2 packages that you have are recreational use from Oklahoma, not anything that has to do with medical marijuana. Okay? Just because you're charged with it doesn't mean you're guilty of it. You can take it to trial. We can do whatever we want in court at a different day. We're not going to have trial sitting out here. Clear? Okay? I'm not calling anybody about the city yet. And here, back to what I said. The instructor license plate. The only thing the charge is, the instructor license plate means that you have covered the license plate to where it's instructed to where it cannot be read. So, like, if you couldn't take, just because you're charged with it doesn't mean you're guilty of it. You have rights to take it to trial. The courts may offer you something. Being charged doesn't mean you're guilty, okay? Well, I get it. You got CDL. Part of this you've been warned before, though, right? And when you're covering up, when you're covering up a plate that's not supposed to be on the vehicle, it does, right? So I understand you're claiming you have medical marijuana stuff. But what I'm seeing is you have paperwork started in the process, but you don't have everything that you need. And you have to show something. The other issue is the marijuana that you have is not prescriptions. It's all recreational stuff that we see coming from Oklahoma all the time. Okay? We're so close to Oklahoma, we see it every day. There's some sort of medical.
He got proof that he just bought the car. He got proof.
Okay? If you go through the process, there's a checks and balances process you have to go through. Doctors, all that stuff. To
So
be prescribed. Okay? To be prescribed is different than what you have so far. Okay? Hear me out. Probable cause is what you need to be charged. Okay? Doesn't mean you're convicted of it. You're going to take it to trial. We'll go to trial. They'll show all my body camera. They'll let you see all my body camera. I'll testify to everything I did. It's fine. It's just a different day. Okay? It's not today. We're not going to have that argument standing out here. What you're being charged with is public paraphernalia. It just means something that's contained, used to process, used to ingest, anything like that. So like a pipe, a tray, stuff like that. Paraphernalia. I'm not charging you with marijuana. In the state of Texas, you get charged with possession of marijuana. It's a guaranteed trip to jail. I do not write you a ticket for that. Based on the weight, it can go up and up and up and up. Including focus. Okay? I'm not going down that road. But that authorized agent tag that was on there is not for the vehicle. It's from a dealership that's right outside of Houston. Okay? Obviously, you didn't buy it in Houston. So whoever put that tag on there, I don't think you went and made a fake tag. I think someone put a tag on there that's fake. Which is why I'm not taking jail. Just being real. Okay? The other part of it is those tags. We are seeing, like, you know, like little mom and pop corner stores that, like, they sell 10 cars. We're seeing those places that are selling 30,000 tags a year. There's no way little 10 car lots selling 30,000 tags a year. It's so bad with the fake tags that they're getting ready to get rid of them. So so here's what you need to do, okay? You can go to the tax assessor's office so you can get it registered, okay? You're gonna have to pass an inspection. You got the insurance, all right? That's the reason I'm not telling it. You have insurance. A lot of times when you see the temp tag, people don't have insurance. But you got insurance, I'm not gonna tell you, okay? Yeah, I get it. I'm not saying that you made huge mistakes, right? That's why I'm not taking you to jail. what part of my job is I do have to issue citations where things are at, right? The other part of it is,
we can deal with it, right?
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. Just because you're charged doesn't mean you're guilty. So, paper tag, you can go to the tax assessor's office and you can ask them for a temporary tag. There's certain requirements you have to meet for it, and then they can issue it. But understand they're not going to issue it continuously. So just getting it registered correctly is the easiest. I'm going to be honest with you, you're probably going to have a hard time getting it registered with the paperwork you have. Because the title is for someone different than the bill of sale, and none of the title is signed and filled out correctly. The date of sale's not on there. All the information of the owner and who it's being sold to, that stuff's not on there. It literally has a name and a signature. So you're reporting what's called an open title, which means it's not filled out correctly, and then it makes it a royal pain when you go to get it. So if you know the guy that you got it from, you're probably going to need to get with him and meet him at the assessor's office to work through it. Because that bill of sale, two things with it. It's got a signature and it says I so-and-so sold to you. It's not notarized, so there's not anything that's like legally official, right? Make sense? Alright, let me do this real quick. This is not marijuana, it's just tobacco, so I'm going to stick it back in the car for you, okay? Alright. So, explain this. Front on top, your information, vehicle information. It says no plate because in the notes I'm going to put that I took the other plate off of it. The reason is, if you don't pay the citation, they go ahead and assign a warrant for you based off the license plate on the vehicle. So if someone through the system correctly registers a vehicle that has that plate number on it, not what you got on there, like if they get a real one and that number happens to come up on the sequence, I don't want someone to get pulled over for your warrant when you don't have a correct plate and maybe they got one. That makes sense?
The car will have a warrant, basically.
If you don't take care of it.
Got it.
Yeah, if you don't take care of it. The way municipal courts do it, they're all Class C. Same level, speeding tickets, all that stuff. If you don't take care of it, it turns into warrant status, okay? So, coming down through here, two charges, one possession of drug paraphernalia, not the marijuana, it's just the bags that contain marijuana residue, okay? So those other two specifically is what I'm talking about, the ones that are not remotely close to prescription, anything like that. Make sense? Okay, then. The other one's the obstructed license plate, you already got a warning on it. Here's I'm writing you a ticket for it, okay? You cannot have anything on there that catches any kind of glare, can't be any kind of tape, can't be any kind of cover that catches glare, can't be tinted like that, anything like that, okay? So any of the frames that cover up the state and all that stuff written on it, can't have any, okay? So, my information, this is the Lewisville Municipal Courts, there's the address, the court dates, August the 20th, 9 o'clock in the morning. A couple ways you can take care of it. You need to take care of it on or before that court date. If you do not, it turns into that warrant status, okay? So there's the address of the court, there's a phone number, there's all the information on their hours. This is your copy here, website, and then all this information down through here. Give me just 20 seconds, I'll get you out of here. All this information, take it home and read it. It explains all the different options you have and how you take care of it. Online, by phone, in person, all that stuff. Make sure you take care of it on before that date. Do not reach out to them, talk to them, or talk to them in person.
How many cars I got driving through here like this?
There's that. The only thing I need right here is not an admission of guilt. Promise to contact the court on before that date. I'll hold it and your family sign it for me.
What?